Meet you down underneath. Under the passenger side, you're looking at the transmission pan. That plug there is for the overflow, and that's the drain. Time to drain the pan. This is a 14mm socket. It's pretty standard for Toyota drain plugs. Transmission is empty. I can just clean up the surface and reinstall the drain plug. It's got a new gasket on there. Now I can remove these 12 pan bolts with my impact. It's a 12mm socket. A little encouragement with my pry driver, I ought to get this pan unstuck. There's a little bit of fluid left, and I can just drain that into the pan. Now remove the strainer. We've got 4 bolts, they're 10mm. Make sure that this O-ring comes off with the strainer, otherwise you'll have to go back up into its position and pull it out. Alright, inside the cleaned pan, we've got magnets installed. Here at the back of the pan, this raised section houses the drain plug. And this taller raised section with the overflow tube has a plug in it also that we'll remove to check the fluid level once we're at operating temperature. Got a new gasket from Toyota. There's the part number. Line up the gasket. It can only go one way, so if it doesn't fit, turn it around. This seems to line up okay. On the other side of the gasket, we've got this tab here. That is what Toyota calls a drop prevention protrusion. It just kind of hooks around the back side of the pan on the lip of it, and it keeps the gasket in place. Pretty cool idea. You got to make sure that they're on square. For putting this on the lip, it's important to make sure that there's no oil on the gasket or on the lip of the pan. Gently push it down, and then get those tabs to click over the side. But I'll flip this over and you can see what it looks like. Okay, looking at the bottom of the pan, this is that tab that goes under the lip. It's the drop prevention protrusion. You got to make sure all of those are square. All right, new strainer and gasket from Toyota. I'm going to lube it up with a little bit of WS. There's the gasket. We're going to put a little bit of fresh WS on there. That's it. Back under the car, take the strainer, press it into its home and line up the bolt holes. I'm starting the threads by hand, and then I'll run them in with the driver, but not tighten them up. I'll torque them to 7 foot-pounds. Give the sealing surface one final wipe down. Make sure there's no oil on it. And install the pan. My favorite tool for starting and running down transmission pan bolts is this Matco ratcheting screwdriver. It's got a 10mm socket on the end of this one. Love this thing, it works perfect for me. Just carefully start the threads and then run them in. One more here ought to hold it. This Tundra is equipped for towing, and part of that package is a thermostat for the transmission fluid cooler. In order to get an accurate reading of the fluid level, that thermostat has to be blocked open with a pin. I've been saving grenade pins from timing chain tensioners, and this one will fit, but don't worry, if you don't have one, you can just use a drill bit in its place. The thermostat here is located on the passenger side. We'll need to push back that plunger about 1/2 inch with a screwdriver, and then block it open with the pin. So of course we can't pour the transmission fluid in from the top. We'll be using this drill pump from PBT. It also comes with the transmission service kit, which is a set of adapters that fit just like the OEM. This is the adapter made for Toyota. It screws directly into the fill port on the driver's side of the transmission, so let's go over to that side of the car and we'll get started. Alright, the driver's side of the transmission now. We're going between the front drive shaft and the transmission just up there. That's your fill port. It's got a 24mm head on it. Let's get that off. All right, I'm just using a shallow 24mm. It's a 3/8 drive. It's on there pretty easy. And there's your fill plug. So there's the filler plug and the adapter. Both of these threads match that hole up there. Take the adapter, we can bend the hose and just thread this in by hand. So again, on the driver's side of the transmission, there's the quick connect for the hose. And way up there on the side of the transmission, the adapter is threaded in. So we're ready to fill. All right, we're ready to hook up the quick connect. This is the discharge tube from the pump. Okay, we pulled about 6 quarts out of the transmission, so I'm going to start with that. If I overfill it slightly, it's okay, because the way we check the level is by draining some out. All right, time to go. I'll start the engine now to warm up the transmission fluid. Meanwhile, I'll be monitoring the transmission fluid temperature data pin here on the scan tool. Toyota gives us a window between 104 and 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Once we reach that temperature, I can remove the plug from the overflow tube and we can get the transmission fluid to the right level. Alright, so the transmission is warming up. I've got the overfill plug here. It's a 5mm Allen. Good with that. Okay, super important. Remember to pull your pin to close that thermostat. And that's it. We're all done. I think this service is pretty straightforward, with the only exception being that you have to fill the transmission from the bottom. Speaking of that, I'll be doing a full review on that quick flow drill pump that I used today. So if you're interested in that, I'll be uploading that video in a few weeks. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that review. Until then, thanks for watching. To stay up to date on future videos just like this one, click here. And click over here to start binge watching tool demos. I won't judge.